Welcome to the deep dive. We've got quite a collection here. NBA box scores, some really sharp analysis you sent over.
Yeah, some exciting games.
Definitely. And we're going to dig into it all, try and pull out the real story behind these matchups. Some compelling basketball.
For sure. We want to get to the heart of, what made these games tick.
Right. So what's the mission today?
Well, we've got that big Grizzlies win over the Mavs.
Okay.
Then the Heat and Hawks, which was apparently quite the showdown.
Prove that.
And the Bucks-Pacers playoff opener. So the goal is really just to boil it down. Who won? Yeah. But how they won and what it kind of tells us about these teams right now.
Perfect. Let's jump right into that first one then. Grizzlies hosting the Mavericks. 120-106, the final. That sounds pretty commanding.
It really was. You look at that score, and it reflects how the Grizzlies sort of imposed their will, both ends of the court.
How so?
Well, offensively, just constant pressure. And defensively, they really seemed to disrupt what Dallas wanted to do. It wasn't just scoring, it was controlling the game's flow,
And leading that charge, no surprise, Ja Morant. 28 points, 8 assists, 5 boards. The analysis mentions his drives. Relentless. What makes him so tough going to the hoop?
It's more than just pure speed, though. He has that, too. It's his ability to change pace, change direction almost instantly. So hard to stay in front of.
Right.
And when he gets into the paint, defenses collapse.
Right.
They have to react. And that's where his vision kicks in, finds the open guy. Those 8 assists aren't an accident. They're a direct result of that pressure he creates.
Makes sense. And Jaren Jackson Jr., JJJ, 22 points, 10 rebounds, plus blocks. Sounds like a monster game for him, too. A real anchor.
Oh, absolutely huge. When you get that kind of production, scoring, rebounding, and elite defense from one guy, that's massive.
Yeah.
His shot blocking, it's not just stopping points. It can totally deflate an opponent. Plus, it sparks their transition game. That double-double combined with the defensive presence, that really shifted things.
And the bench chipped in, too. Desmond Bane, 18 points. Tyus Jones with 14. How important is that kind of depth?
Oh, it's critical, especially for sustaining effort over 48 minutes. Means the starters don't get ground down.
Right.
Plus, it gives the other team a different look. When your bench guys can come in and drop, 32 points between them? That shows a really well-rounded team. They can handle foul trouble, maybe an off night from a star.
Okay, flip side. The Mavericks. Luka Doncic puts up his usual big numbers, 32, 9, and 7. But not enough. What does that tell us?
Well, it kind of highlights that basketball's still a team game, right? Luka's incredible, and nobody denies that.
For sure.
But if the other team, like the Grizzlies did here, can effectively shut down or limit the other guys and force turnovers, even a superstar performance sometimes isn't enough. Credit to the Memphis D.
Okay, let's shift gears. Miami Heat versus the Atlanta Hawks, described here as an electrifying showdown. Heat take it 123-114. Sounds like it was close.
Yeah, the score suggests a real back and forth. Both teams have serious offensive weapons.
High scoring, definitely.
Exactly. So you probably expected points. What made it electrifying, I guess, was the lead changes, the big shots traded back and forth, real momentum swings.
And leading the way for Miami, Tyler Hero, 30 points. Several clutch shots, it says here. What's it mean when a guy delivers like that in crunch time?
It's confidence, but it's also skill. Making shots when the pressure's highest isn't just luck. It's about creating space, reading the D, executing.
Right.
Harrow's showing he's willing and able to take and make those shots. That's often the difference in tight games like this one. Sounds like it was pivotal for Miami.
Then there's Bam Adebayo. Only 11 points, but the analysis highlights 8 blocks. 8! How big is that defensively, even if the scoring isn't huge?
Oh, it's a game changer. Seriously, 8 blocks, that completely messes with the other team's offensive rhythm.
Yeah, I bet.
Guys start hesitating to drive, they alter their shots. It's not just the shots he blocks, it's the ones he changes or prevents entirely. Plus, blocks can lead to easy transition buckets. That defensive impact is immense, way beyond just 11 points.
And Jimmy Butler, 24 points, and the usual leadership. What does that veteran presence bring?
It's invaluable, especially in close games. Making the smart play, settling the team down, knowing when to take over, when to facilitate. Butler's that anchor, that guy who keeps everyone focused. You can't always measure it in stats.
Okay, for the Hawks, Trae Young, another big offensive night, 29 points, 10 assists. He's just so tough to guard, isn't he?
He really is. That combination of speed, like lightning quick, plus deep shooting range.
Yeah, the logo shots.
Exactly. And then, if you overplay the shot, he's got incredible vision to find teammates. You have to respect his scoring threat everywhere, and that opens things up. A true offensive engine.
Clint Capella chipped in a double-double, too.
Yeah.
But, like with Dallas, not enough. So what was the deciding factor here for the Heat?
Well, sounds like even though Atlanta scored well, Miami's overall defense, especially with Adebayo protecting the rim like that was probably the key difference. Getting just enough stops when it counted.
Okay, playoff time now. Bucks versus the Pacers, game one of the 2025 series. Milwaukee takes it, 115-110. Close one to start the playoffs. What's stood out there?
Yeah, playoff intensity, you could just feel it apparently. Every possession matters more, the physicality ramps up.
It's a different game.
It really is. A different animal, like they say. This game sounded like it had that edge of your seat feel right from the tip-off.
And Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Yeah.
Just a monster line. 34 points, 12 rebounds, 7 assists. The analysis calls it dominant, highlights his versatility, his leadership. How does he impact the game in so many ways?
He's just unique, isn't he? That blend of size, speed, athleticism, skill. There's nobody quite like him.
Nope.
He can score inside at will, he can handle the ball, make plays for others, dominate the glass, and beyond the stats, it's that force of will. He just seems to elevate everyone around him. That's real leadership, especially under the playoff microscope.
Now, interestingly, Damian Lillard was out for Milwaukee. Conditioning issue, it says. How big of a deal was his absence, and what's it say that they still won?
Oh, losing Dame is significant. He's a huge part of their offense, spacing the floor, hitting big shots.
Yeah, clutch player.
Exactly. So for them to win game one without him, that shows some serious resilience. It means other guys had to step up, and they did. Speaks volumes about their depth and their mental toughness as a team.
And we saw guys like Kyle Kuzma with 20 points, Brooke Lopez with 15 and 9 rebounds stepping up. How vital are those kinds of performances when a star is out?
Absolutely essential. You can't win in the playoffs, especially against a good team like the Pacers, relying on just one guy.
Right.
Kuzma providing that scoring, Lopez controlling the paint, hitting shots. That takes immense pressure off Giannis and fills the void left by Lillard. Crucial contributions.
On the Pacers side, Tyrese Halliburton looked great, 27 points, 11 assists. He's really emerged as a top playmaker, hasn't he?
Oh, absolutely. His court vision is just phenomenal. It seems like he always makes the right read, finds the open man. He's the conductor of that Pacers offense, creating for himself and everyone else. Really exciting player.
Pascal Siakam also had a good game, 22 and 10. Indiana fought hard, clearly, but fell just short. What tipped the scales for the Bucks in this one?
Sounds like, in the end, maybe it was the Bucks' experience edge. And just making those key defensive plays down the stretch.
Crunch time execution.
Exactly. Playoff games often come down to who executes better in the last few minutes, who gets the stops. Milwaukee managed to do that in game one.
So let's zoom out a bit. Look across these three games. We saw the Grizzlies and Heat really asserting themselves, getting important wins. What defined those victories?
Yeah, for Memphis, it felt like that two-way control. Morant and JJJ leading the way on both ends. For Miami, maybe more about clutch scoring from Harrow, Butler, and that difference-making defense, especially from Adebayo.
Okay, and the Bucks showing playoff resilience right away, even without a key piece. What does that signal for their postseason hopes?
It signals they're deep, they're adaptable, they're battle-tested. Winning tough games, especially when shorthanded, builds incredible confidence. Shows they aren't just reliant on their stars. That's huge for a potentially long playoff run.
And we definitely saw some amazing individual efforts, even on the losing teams. Doncic, Trae Young, Halliburton. What does that remind us about today's NBA?
Just the incredible level of talent across the league. Wow, these guys can put up huge numbers and carry their teams offensively on any given night. Even in a loss, their brilliance shines through.
Yeah, these were definitely some fun games to break down. Clear that individual stars made a huge impact, but team execution, defense, that stuff still matters.
Absolutely. It's that mix, isn't it? Those moments of individual magic happening within a strong team concept. That's usually the winning formula in these high-level games.
Well, that wraps up our deep dive for today. Hopefully breaking down these matchups gives everyone a better feel for not just the scores, but the stories behind them.
Yeah, we tried to pull out the key takeaways, the standout performances, and the team dynamics that really shaped these outcomes.
So here's a final thought to chew on. We talk a lot about superstar talent, and we saw plenty of it. But how much does individual brilliance really sway the outcome compared to overall team cohesion and strategy, especially when the stakes are high like in the playoffs? These games gave us some interesting evidence, didn't they? Something to think about. Till next time.